Hello and welcome. My name's Dr. Tina Ray, and today I just want to share very briefly with you my new resource from Hinton House Publishers. This resource supports understanding and supporting children and young people with emotionally based school avoidance. So I'm delighted that a companion to this book is now this wheat in. And again, this is entitled Emotionally Based School Avoidance, but they are discussion cards and they are meant to go as a companion to the book, which is our bestseller from Hinton House. So I'm very proud of that. The idea behind these cards is to facilitate the child in conversation with a supportive, nurturing adult so that they can give their views as to what is going on for them, both internally and externally in or out of the school context. What we want to find out is what is going wrong, what is actually causing them anxiety, what is it that we can do in a school context to change the way that we approach and nurture that child. So it's about really finding out what it is that's going on for that individual child or young person. And I think very often we don't spend enough time, in my view, really getting the child's views. We need to find out exactly how they are feeling, how they are experiencing the classroom context, and why this is so problematic for some of them. What it doesn't do is obviously um, put the child in the position of being the problem. And I think this is very, very important. These cards are ideally to be used to find out what is going wrong, but also what we can do differently to make sure that that child feels more comfortable and included. So it's about talking. It's about really approaching this in a nurturing way, not actually demonizing the child or blaming them for having so-called anxiety. So I think this is very important. They all come in a wee tin, these cards, very, very easy to use and navigate. There's a little introduction booklet here, which basically introduces the cards in a very, very short way. I mean, it's very, very concise, very simple to use, but just describing what EBSA is, understanding anxiety, how that occurs and how that cycle is repeated and repeated, and ways in which we need to actually interrupt it. So very, very straightforward and simple. There are 60 cards in the tin, and they're organised in 3 sections. So understanding my feelings and worries, building my skills, and positive transitioning. So if I empty the wee book here, you'll see they are all set out in 3 different colours. So the first one, understanding feelings and worries, is green. And on the reverse of each card are little activities that you can do with the child to build their skills, but also to elicit their views. And that's very, very important. So talking about my worries, talking about what helps me to stay calm, talking about the reasons why we shouldn't be blaming ourselves, and really giving staff in schools, I think, some very good ideas as to how we need to change perhaps what we're doing in order to adapt and be more flexible in how we support children. Building my skills again, so getting creative, using flow, using music, using all sorts of things such as key helpers to engage with us and support us in actually challenging our negative automatic thoughts. So again, these are under the blue section here. And then positive transitioning. This is important. It's about building up different systems of support for a child or young person so that they can get back into the learning context. Remembering, of course, that the learning context is not going to be suitable for all, no matter what kind of changes we make. And I think that's very, very important. Some of those changes need to be more significant. We need to, for some of our children, go down the route of flexi schooling approaches. So I'm not actually ruling that out. I think that's very, very important. But for these cards, in the main, I think they are best used with children who we know we can get back in at some point, maybe in a graduated way, but often I think within a few weeks or a few months. So I think that's very, very important. So in order to do that, we need to find out what's going to work in terms of that transition and putting in place the right sort of program. So again, these cards are really about just using regulation, identifying support systems, circles of friends, how to be organised, or organising a well-being plan that really works for that child, but also the systems around them that work. So making sure that they do have an effective transition toolbox to get back into the classroom in a graduated way. So I'm hoping that these become another bestseller. I think in a nutshell, they are very, very practical, user-friendly, easy to use. I think for some of us, these are very obvious practical things that we should be doing, but we lose sight of them when we ourselves get overwhelmed by anxiety around our children not responding or not getting back into school. So hopefully people will find these useful, and hopefully it will also become another bestseller for Hinton, and I'm so proud of them because I do think that this is an area that so many of us are so concerned about at the moment. And this is another piece of armour in our armoury, in our toolbox of well-being, in our toolkit for supporting our children and young people. And that's really what this is all about. So thanks for listening, and I hope you can have a look and see what you think at some juncture. Thanks. Bye.